Have you ever looked into a woman's eyes and felt like she held all the power, and you had none? Like no matter what you said or did, she was 5 steps ahead and you were just playing catch-up? If so, you're not alone. But what if I told you that the Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius, who ruled one of the greatest empires in history, left behind powerful suggestions that could help you master not only yourself, but also understand the psychological patterns that govern female behavior? And before you jump to conclusions, this isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding. It's about developing control over your own mind so no one can ever control you again. If that's something you're ready for, subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. And make sure to watch this video all the way to the end, because these 5 female weaknesses and the 10 Stoic suggestions we'll cover might just change your entire love life. There's a story from the final years of Marcus Aurelius's reign. The empire was crumbling on its edges. His son Commodus was proving himself unworthy. Rome was bleeding, and yet Marcus sat still, writing his meditations, not for anyone else but for himself. One evening, as the wind blew through the marble pillars of his study, a young commander came to him. The man had just returned from the Eastern Front, victorious but troubled. Not by war, but by a woman. "She confuses me, my lord," the soldier confessed. "She loves me one day, and tears me apart the next." Marcus smiled, a tired, knowing smile. He didn't laugh. He didn't mock. Instead, he handed the young man a wax tablet with a few lines inscribed. And those lines would later become the foundation of what we now call Stoic mastery in relationships. Those ancient words still apply. And they offer a path to mastering not just the weaknesses of others, but the vulnerabilities within ourselves. So let's break down 5 female weaknesses and 10 of Marcus Aurelius's suggestions to navigate them with power, clarity, and calm. 1. Emotional volatility. Have you ever sat across from a woman you love and suddenly the warmth in her eyes vanished? One moment she was laughing, holding your hand like you were her entire world, and the next she was cold, distant, accusing you of things you never even did. And you thought to yourself, what just happened? Be honest. Have you ever been in that exact moment? If so, I want you to know you're not weak and you're definitely not alone. We all fall for someone who sweeps us off our feet. You remember the first time you saw her smile, right? How her voice made the world go silent? How your heart raced when she leaned on your shoulder? You weren't just in love, you were lost in it. But slowly, her moods began to shift. She'd cry and you wouldn't know why. She'd explode over a simple message left unread. She'd disappear emotionally, then demand closeness. And you were spinning, trying to fix it, trying to make her happy, trying not to lose her. But the more you tried, the more powerless you felt. That, my friend, is what Marcus Aurelius warned us about almost 2,000 years ago. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Let that sink in. Because her emotions, they're not yours to control. They're like storms, unpredictable, intense, and often irrational. But just like a storm, if you run around trying to change it, yelling at the sky, panicking with every drop of rain, you drown. But if you stay still, if you build a shelter, control your breath and remain calm, the storm passes. Every time. That's emotional mastery. That's Stoic strength. You see, emotional volatility is one of the deepest female weaknesses. And I don't say weakness in a cruel way. It's simply a part of human nature. A woman's emotional world is rich, deep, and often unstable. That's why she needs a man who can withstand it, not join the chaos. Now let me ask you this. How would your love life be different if you never reacted to her drama? If, instead of arguing, you just smiled knowingly? If your calm made her feel safe even in her storms? Women don't want perfection. They want certainty. They want to feel that no matter what happens, they can't shake you. And that begins with you choosing not to ride her emotional roller coaster. Remember this, she may test you with tears, tantrums, or silence. But if you stay unmoved, not cruel, but centered, she'll respect you more than any sweet words you could ever say. So tell me, was there a moment in your love story where you lost yourself in her emotions? Where your love became survival instead of connection? Comment below, share it. This isn't just a video, it's your story. And if you want to truly turn your love life around, don't skip the rest of this video. Because this is just the first step. The storm is just beginning, but the Stoic inside you is about to rise. 2. Craving attention and validation. Do you remember how it all started? The late night texts, The way her eyes lit up when she saw you. The good morning messages. The hours you spent just talking, sharing your dreams, your childhood memories, your fears. She made you feel like the only man in the world. And in those early days, you didn't have to try so hard. She chased you. She laughed at your jokes. She stared at you like you were made of gold. But then something shifted, didn't it? She started pulling away. She'd go online and ignore your messages. She stopped complimenting you, stopped asking how your day was. And slowly, you started chasing. You found yourself checking if she was active, rereading your messages to see if you said something wrong, wondering who she was texting now. And you didn't notice it, but you had given your power away. Marcus Aurelius warned us, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." What does that mean in your love life? It means this: when you live for her attention, when her texts dictate your mood, you've stopped living your own life. You've handed over your masculinity on a silver platter. Let me tell you a secret. Most women today are addicted to attention. Likes, hearts, DMs, compliments. It's like oxygen to their ego. They don't even know it's happening, but you can't win by trying to be louder in a room full of noise. The moment you chase her attention, you become invisible. So what's the Stoic move? Marcus would tell you to detach from the external, to live for your own code, to be so grounded in your purpose that her validation becomes irrelevant. Here's what you do. First, don't compete, command attention. Work on your mission. Build your body. Grow your income. Live an interesting life. Women don't fall for desperate men. They fall for men who are too focused to chase. Second, withdraw strategically. Don't be afraid to go silent. Not out of pettiness, but to remind her who you are. When she notices your absence, she starts to feel your value again. Have you ever stopped texting her and suddenly she reached out? That's not luck. That's polarity at work. Now pause and think. When did you start living for her replies instead of your goals? When did you become a passenger in your own life? Drop a comment below because I know you've felt that sting, that silence, that slow fade. And if this story feels like your story, you're not alone. Remember, you're not here to be her entertainment. You're here to be her anchor, her obsession. But that only happens when you stop needing her attention and start owning your power. Keep watching, because in the next point we'll uncover something even deeper. Her hidden insecurities and how a real man leads through them. Don't miss it. This is your story and we're just getting started. 3. Insecurity and need for reassurance. Have you ever loved a woman so much that when she said, "I don't feel good enough," you tried everything to lift her up? You told her she was beautiful. You reminded her she was special. You canceled your plans to be with her, made her your priority, even when she wasn't treating you the same. And still, she doubted you. Still, she pulled away. Still, you felt like it was never enough. Sound familiar? That's because you were loving her the way you wanted to be loved, not the way a strong, stoic man leads a woman who's trapped in her own insecurity. Let's go back to your love story for a second. You remember how she lit up when you first met, right? How she couldn't stop touching you, asking you about your past, your plans, your dreams. But if you looked closely, even then there were cracks. The way she asked if you liked her outfit again and again. The way she wanted to know who was texting you. The way she got upset when you looked at your phone for 2 seconds during dinner. You thought it was cute at first. That maybe she just needed more love, more words, more effort. But here's the truth: Marcus Aurelius knew better than most. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. That doesn't mean prove yourself. That doesn't mean explain yourself. It means be calm, be strong, be stable. Be a rock when she is the waves. Her insecurity is not a test for you to pass. It's a mirror for her to face. And if you get dragged into her fears, if you start managing her emotions, you lose your frame. And she loses respect. So what do? Suggestion 5, lead with certainty. Stop over-explaining. Stop trying to convince her you're loyal. Let your actions speak. When she doubts herself, don't rush to fix her emotions. Just be still. Let her come back to your energy. Suggestion 6, set standards, not expectations. You can't expect her to be emotionally stable all the time. But you can set a standard for how you're treated. If she crosses a line, withdraw. Not with anger, but with presence. She will feel the weight of your absence more than the sting of your words. Now take a moment and reflect. Was there a time when you gave everything just to make her feel secure? When you thought if you just loved her harder, she'd finally feel safe? If that sounds like your story, leave a comment. Tell us you're not weak. You just need to lead differently. Women don't want a therapist, they want a man. One who doesn't get pulled into the storm but guides her through it. And if you stay until the end of this video, I'll show you how to handle something far more dangerous than insecurity, emotional manipulation. We're not done yet. This is your love story and it's time you take the pen back. Borter. Emotional manipulation. Have you ever walked away from an argument with her and thought, wait, how did this become my fault? You were calm, rational, clear. She was upset, emotional, maybe even crying. And before you knew it, you were apologizing. You were explaining yourself. You were bending again. And deep inside, you knew something was off. That, my friend, was emotional manipulation. And don't worry, you're not the only man who's fallen into that trap. It happens slowly, subtly, silently. Let me take you back. You met her and she was magnetic. She seemed so sweet, so vulnerable. Maybe she even opened up about her past, how her ex hurt her, how she has trust issues, how people always leave. You felt for her. You thought she just needs a man who will treat her right. So you gave her your heart, your time, your energy. But over time, it became a pattern. You started to feel like you were walking on eggshells, that no matter how good you were, she always found something wrong, that when you needed her most, she made your pain about her feelings. And suddenly your love story wasn't a love story anymore. It was a power game. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And emotional manipulation? It hijacks your thoughts. It turns your truth into her version of events. It makes you second-guess your instincts. So how do you spot it? Simple. If you constantly feel guilty, drained, or confused, you're not in a relationship. You're in a manipulation loop. Let me tell you what a Stoic man does when faced with this. Step 1. Observe, don't react. She might cry, yell, or give the silent treatment. Don't match it. Don't try to solve it. Observe, hold your ground. Emotional manipulation only works when you react to it. Step 2. Set boundaries, then enforce them. Not with words, with behavior. If she punishes you with silence, let her be silent. If she accuses you without facts, don't defend, disengage. Show her that manipulation doesn't move you. Only truth does. Now think back. When was the last time she twisted your words? When was the last time she played the victim after hurting you? And be honest, when did you start ignoring those red flags? Because you loved her too much? Drop a comment. Don't just watch this, live this. You are not her emotional puppet. You are a man, a leader, and your mind is your kingdom. If she can control your emotions, she controls you. But there's one more weakness we need to talk about, one that hides behind charm and beauty. It's called emotional entitlement, and it can destroy your self-worth if you don't know how to stand against it. 5. Entitlement and unrealistic expectations. Have you ever looked at the woman you loved and thought, nothing I do is ever enough? You brought her gifts. You showed up. You remembered the small things, her favorite flower, that old story she once told you, the way she liked her coffee. And still, she seemed unsatisfied. She complained you weren't romantic enough. She compared you to some fantasy man on Instagram. She said, if you really loved me, you'd just know. And suddenly love didn't feel like love anymore, it felt like performance. Like you were constantly auditioning for a role in her movie. A movie where the ending was always out of reach. Sound familiar? You see many modern women, especially the ones drowning in social media, carry something dangerous in their hearts. Entitlement. They've been told their entire lives, you deserve the world. A real man will do anything for you. If he's not giving you everything, he's not the one. But what no one told them is that love is not a reward system. It's not a throne you sit on and demand loyalty from. It's a shared experience, a partnership. And this is where Marcus Aurelius gives us a powerful reminder. He said, don't hanker after what you don't have. Instead, fix your attentions on the finest and best that you have, and imagine how much you would long for these if they weren't in your possession. That's the Stoic lens. Gratitude over greed, reality over fantasy, discipline over desire. But when a woman is driven by entitlement, she doesn't see the man in front of her, she sees what he's not. And you, brother, you start trying to fill a cup that has no bottom. Let me bring this back to your story. Do you remember when your love was simple? When she smiled just because you showed up? When she didn't need grand gestures? Just your time, your energy, your truth? That woman's still inside her, but entitlement buries her. And here's what you do. First, stop overgiving. You don't need to prove your worth. You are not a wallet. You are not a savior. You are a man with standards. If she cannot appreciate the simple things, she doesn't deserve the grand ones. Second, reflect, then correct. Ask yourself, am I building a relationship or maintaining a fantasy for her? And if the answer leans toward fantasy, it's time to reset the script. That means being willing to lose her, to find yourself again. Now pause. When did she start expecting more than she gave? When did you start believing that her love was something you had to earn? Drop that in the comments. Because here's the truth. A woman who expects the world but offers little in return doesn't need a partner. She needs a reality check. And that starts with you. Now stay with me because we're not finished yet. We've broken down her weaknesses, but in the final seconds of this video, I'm going to show you how to turn her chaos into your control, using the ancient wisdom of the Stoics. That young commander who once came to Marcus with heartache, he followed the emperor's advice. He stopped reacting. He became still. He focused on his mission. He treated her emotions as weather, not prophecy. And when she tried to leave, he let her, but she didn't. Because in his stillness, she found the security she couldn't create alone. You see, most men fear the feminine storm, but the Stoic man welcomes it, not to control her, but to master himself. Women are not the enemy. Their weaknesses are not flaws, they're tests. Marcus Aurelius never tried to control others. He controlled his reactions to them. And in doing so, he ruled an empire with calm, wisdom, and inner fire. Now it's your turn. Master these 5 female weaknesses by mastering the 10 Stoic suggestions. Because once you control your mind, you control the relationship. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.